Most people have this backlog of empty promises that they've never fulfilled with themselves. And this list of broken promises, it just builds day by day by day. You tell yourself you're going to do something, and then it never gets done. Maybe that's out of laziness. Maybe that's out of fear. Maybe that's simply because life just got in the way and you had to do something else. Look, I've been there. In fact, these videos here, like the one you're watching, were planned 5 years ago. I simply never got around to doing them because, well, I had fear. Anyways, in this video, I'll be discussing why breaking promises with yourself is soul-crushing, as dramatic as that may sound, and how you can go about mitigating this so that even when you don't do the things you said you were going to do, it doesn't stress you out. All right? Let's get right into it. By and large, we're living in amazing times. We have shelter, we have food, water, access to endless information. It's much easier than what things were hundreds of years ago or thousands of years ago with our ancestors. You see, our ancestors were always looking for things that would help them better survive. Better food, better water, better supplies for building their shelters. That's what their mind was so focused on. And yeah, of course these things still matter. We need shelter, we need water, we need food, we need clothing on our back. All these things are super important for us to survive. But these survival needs, they're basically met. You have grocery stores right up the road, you have water in your sink, you have clothes in your closet. It's pretty simple, right? So our priorities have really shifted. Rather than focusing on doing things needed to survive, we're focused on developing ourselves. Maslow's hierarchy of needs really explains this well. I'll be sure to put up an image of this so you can take a look. And you can see that it's a pyramid of sorts. At the bottom, we have physiological needs. Above that, we have safety and security. Above that, we have love and belonging. Above that, we have self-esteem. And above that, we have self-actualization. So as you can see, those categories at the bottom of the pyramid, they are more survival-based. For example, at the bottom, physiological needs, there's breathing, food, water, shelter, clothing, sleep. These are the basics. And then as you go up the pyramid, they become a little bit more complex. And this is exactly the situation that we're in right now. Because in past times, as I mentioned, everything people did on a day-to-day basis was to fulfill their physiological needs. So now we're in the situation where we can focus on those safety and security needs, where we can work on love and belonging and self-esteem and perhaps even self-actualization. Although I think that's not something that most people ever experience. So anyways, now we're in this situation within society where our priorities have shifted. Our mindset is not focused on survival needs, but now on development in purpose and meaning needs, all right? So what we do is, and when I say we, I mean most people, we set these big plans, these goals, these ambitions that we want to achieve. And we endlessly plan and we think about what it is we have to do, and we imagine all the things that our life could be like when we're past a certain threshold, once we've achieved certain goals, because, well, that feels productive. It feels like we're actually improving ourselves even though nothing's really changing within our physical life. It's all in our heads. People tell themselves, yeah, I'm really gonna lock in and make 100K this year. Or people say, yeah, I'm gonna tune out all my distractions and just focus on my work. Or they say, yeah, I'm gonna go to those networking events and I'm gonna build that social media profile and I'm going to build an offer and reach out to these prospective clients so I can start making more money. And obviously these are just a few examples, but you get the point. People tell themselves this and then time passes but nothing ever changes. They get in this mental masturbation mode where they're planning and they're assessing and they're strategizing, but nothing ever really takes place. And this is something I talked about much more in my last video about overthinking. So I won't really go down that rabbit hole today, but my point here is that many of us make these promises with ourselves. We set these big goals and these ambitions, but we never fulfill them because, well, maybe some of them are way too far out of reach. Maybe some of them are maybe a bit too delusional. Maybe some of them simply don't align with what we truly want in this life. And we're just setting them because, well, society says you should want to make this amount of money, or social media shows that you should have an 8-pack abs, or you should be traveling the world and living in Bali and doing all these things that online entrepreneurs do everywhere. I'll be straightforward with you here. Don't overburden yourself with promises you can't keep. Because of course, taking on more responsibility is one of the best things you can do to develop yourself. It forces you to grow. It forces you to try new things and take action and be bold. But when your mind is flooded with all these things you need to do, all these things you need to achieve, then that can be very taxing. Every time you fail to follow through, you lose trust in yourself. When you lose trust in yourself, you have limiting beliefs. These limiting beliefs influence your identity, and your identity influences those actions you take on a day-to-day basis. And this, my friend, is why it's soul crushing. From the inside out, you feel like you're not worthy. You feel like you don't deserve to make these changes. You don't deserve to do the things you got to do in order to achieve the life that you want. All because you overburden yourself with too many promises. Obviously, I'm not telling you to not set goals. I think you should aim high. I think you should tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do these things, and of course, follow through with them. But there's a mindset shift you can make so that you don't overburden yourself. Rather than taking on so much and making all these promises with yourself that you can't fulfill, you could ask yourself this one question. What can I actually follow through on consistently? Because after all, the goal is sustainability. You are in this game for the long run. I know social media puts this narrative in front of you that you need to achieve these things quickly. You need to become a millionaire by 25. You need to have seen the entire world 5 times over by the time you're 30. You need to be driving the nicest muscle car. You need to be big and jacked and have the best hair and the best skin and the best clothes and all these other things. But it's really not how it goes. Things don't happen like that. And when you expect yourself to fulfill these promises, to achieve these goals and hit all your KPIs in a short period of time, but then you don't, those negative beliefs and those limiting mindsets will spiral, and they will make it very difficult for you to stay in this game for the long term. The best thing you can do is stack proof, stack evidence, and do this consistently so that as the years pass and you continue working on your business or your 9-to-5 job or your success in whatever other area, you can look back and be like, yeah, I did all the things I said I was going to do. It took me a bunch of time, and maybe I'm a bit older now, but I'm here. And that internal belief, that internal knowing that you're somebody who can fulfill all the things that they say you're going to do, that's powerful. You can't take that away from you. That inner confidence, that's something that nearly nobody has. You become somebody who is confident, who is disciplined, who is purposeful, who is a long-term visionary because you can stick with it. You're not somebody who needs quick wins. You're not relying on short-term gratification and dopamine in order to propel you forward. Now, you're in this for the long game. You're consistent, you're disciplined. You have that steady stream of effort that's going towards the things that matter to you. And yeah, that, my friend, is a game changer. So, of course, aim high, set these big goals for yourself. I'm all for it, but don't overburden yourself with promises that you can't follow through on, all right? Play the long-term game and stay in the game. That's what matters most. All right, thanks for watching. Speak to you soon.